WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, often reviewing rare and exotic whiskeys. This is once again one of the bottles I brought home from my Kentucky, Tennessee whiskey tour in August of 2024. This is from Hartfield Co. Bourbon from Bourbon County. Exceptional barrel, Kentucky bourbon whiskey, single barrel cask strength. I have barrel number 22-0346. This is actually bottle number 15 of 58, shows how small the barrels are. And this is a wheated bourbon. So, wheated bourbons in this case mean 80% corn, 20% malted wheat. So, and we have here 114.5 proof or 57.2% ABV. So I wanted a small bottle that I could take home. I was running out of suitcase space already, and so I just picked this little boy up here. I thought it was unique that they had their wheated bourbon there with the malted wheat as well. What am I going to compare it to? I always love comparing things. This was also from my tour. I visited the Augusta Distillery there in Augusta, Kentucky. And this was a bottle your own. I had 3 barrels. I got to bottle all 3 of these. I was highly excited doing this. This is 59.75% ABV. This is a 2-year-old wheated bourbon with the following mash bill. 51% corn, 45% wheat, and 4% malted barley. I love this bottle. I still love this bottle. But everyone's going, Jason, it's just 2 years old. It's fantastic. The 4-year-old was good. The 6-year-old was better, but the 2-year-old just blew them all out of the water. And I'm going to have to research a little bit about that mash bill and find out where it is. Maybe someone else can help me. 51 corn, 45% wheat, and 4% malted barley, 2 years of age. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. All right. Hartfield Co. are doing fantastic things there in Paris, Kentucky. They are the only bourbon producers in Bourbon County. It's an old car dealership. So they actually have an elevator to bring the cars up and down, and so they can actually move the barrels up and down and everything else, the grain and the wheat and everything. And what I was just thinking about in my German video is what I did is I filmed everything. You can find that video online on my channel. Just type in Hartfield WhiskyJason. You're going to find it immediately. And the thing is, they actually blow in. They have fermentation tanks are just big plastic totes. So it's a 1,000 liter plastic container. It's not that big. It's like 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter. That's our 1 yard by 1 yard by 1 yard for the Americans out there. It's not that big. All right, but you can put 1,000 liters in there. So about 280 gallons. And what they do is they only put about 200 gallons in there, and that's their mash. So you put the corn, you put the malted wheat in there, you put some enzymes in there, and you put your yeast in there. And they actually make it like a jacuzzi. They bubble it up. They put water in through water. They put air. They put air in there. And it's just like I was just talking along, and it's just like, wait a second. Yeast is a fungi. Yeast doesn't need oxygen. Why are they pumping air into that system if actually it's anaerobic, so no oxygen needed? They take the sugar, CO2, ethanol, boom, everyone's happy. No oxygen needed. And yet they're pumping in that air, and I thought, oh, they're putting more and more oxygen in there. No, not needed. All they do are moving it around so that the yeast gets a little bit of maybe stressed out. I don't know. I do remember being at Wilderness Trail Distillery, and they had these 20,000 gallon washbacks, so fermenters, and they had the rotation blades. It was like almost like a whirlpool in there as well, which is just like the water going down the toilet or down the drain. It was flowing at a very, very rapid rate, and they were doing fermentation times of under 48 hours. So, and that had to do also with that movement there. And I think maybe also they have something to do with that movement there. All right, good. Enough of that. I am not a big wheated bourbon guy. Sorry. I love my ryes. I love my high rye bourbons and my wheated bourbons with One big exception's Maker 46. Anything you can do with makers that's not the standard red label, I'm probably going to like. The private selects are great. Um, even some of their now the Heart edition I have over here now. The cellar aged I have as well. I'm going to put a video out on that. Maker's Mark's doing some good stuff, and yet I don't like often weeded whiskey. Exceptions to the rule. I do have a 12-year-old W.L. Weller over here. Yummy, soft, light, almost watery, but has got a nice flavor. And other weeded whiskeys from Wilderness Trail, from other places. It's just, give me the rye. So 2 weeders. Now this is a little funky on the nose. I get a little bit of a Play-Doh moment. I get grapes, but I get an artificial wild cherry moment. Have you had like a lollipop or maybe a cough drop and that wild cherry? And it's a little too fake. It's a little bit too chemical. That's what I'm getting here. The Augusta on the nose. Now this is funky on the nose, which this goes absolutely in the right direction for me. If you've ever had Reservoir Wheated, that blue bottle, 100% wheat, smaller barrels, instead of 50 gallons, they're between 15 and 30 gallon barrels they use there. And the wheated distillate is basically like a canvas that has nothing on it, and the casks can paint on it. It's beautiful stuff. And I'm getting this. I'm getting sassafras. I'm getting Mr. Pibb. I'm getting a little bit of root beer. I'm getting pecan, and I'm getting a little bit of maple syrup, all tied together. Oh, that's so good. And a tiny little bit, and I know this is wrong, but this is what I get, a little bit of acrylic paint. If you ever worked with acrylic paints, you open them up and that little bit of that, it's not turpentine, but a solvent is in there that I'm getting here as well, just a tiny little bit. All right, cheers. As I've said, and I have to remind myself, 57.2%. I think I paid about $55 for a 0.375 liter bottle, which would put a normal bottle at $110, which is very, very high. But don't forget the exceptional barrel. Have I said that already? The exceptional barrel here? All right, good. But I wanted a small one, so that's my decision as well. You can get the wheated bourbon from them in 0.75 for $55. All right, on site in Paris, Kentucky. At cast strength, this does have a little bit of a bite. There's a little bit of a power there, a little bit of an alcohol sharpness, but it's got some really great flavors. This is craft. This does not taste like anything from the Big Six. All right, no Wild Turkey, no Heaven Hill, no Buffalo Trace, no Maker's Mark, no Beam products. What's the 6th one then? Whatever the 6th one is going to be here. None of those. This is craft. Think Wisconsin, think Michigan, think Ohio, think other places around the country, maybe Iowa, maybe Florida, and so on. Wherever they're making whiskey, this is that small craft version there. Pleasant. This is a C plus whiskey. Value for money, D minus. All right, this is not something I recommend and go out and go buy. This is something you're at the distillery like me and you need something to take home and you want something special. And it's like, well, let's just go for this, especially since suitcase space is limited, the smallest bottle with the best product available. Great people there. Great tour guide. Great little bar out there. It's from Lexington, not even an hour away, I think. Well worth a trip out to Hartfield Co. Distillery. There, it almost feels like a working museum. Augustus, just a sip of water here, cleanse my palate. There will be an individual video of the 3 bottles I brought home. I hand-filled them myself. I hand-labeled them myself. The experience at Augusta was awesome. I was not because I bought a ticket. I did a normal tour, but I filmed it. Um, and I bought all three of the bottles that I had there. The tour of the facility, great. They were still commissioning the stills and still doing some building on site, and outside was just a mess. It will be next year that you can do all the entertainment stuff outside. That's going to be fantastic. But this year, it's all getting that whiskey distillery up and running, and they're going to be making a lot of whiskey there. There were a lot of mash tuns, sorry, washbacks and their fermenters. And so they have source whiskeys. I have the 2, the 4, and the 6, and there will be a video coming out just of this. But if you're ever anywhere close to Augusta, Kentucky, which is in the middle of nowhere, so Lexington, Louisville, Cincinnati, Augusta. So it's you have to kind of almost want to go there. It's about from Lexington about 90 minutes to get there. Cheers. Mm. I don't know what it is about this whiskey. I'm sure there are going to be people out there that try this and go, "What? That's wrong." And the whole time I go, "Yes, this is right." This is so different from almost every single bourbon I've ever tasted. I don't think I've ever tasted a 51-45 wheat and 4% malted barley. I get the moment of that reservoir wheat where the wood just kind of paints on the canvas there. I get the peanuts, I get the sassafras, I get a little bit of that maple syrup going on in here, and it's just so harmonious. It is 59.75%. I have no desire whatsoever to put any water in this. This is delicious juice. It's thick. It has a viscosity in there that I just mouth coating, wonderful moment. I want to take another little sip here. Mm. But it's different. And many people are going to go, well, Jason, you're wrong. Okay, I'm wrong, but I like it. And that's good that we have different tastes and different opinions here. My question of the day is I mentioned the big five. I forgot the number six at this moment. Um, what brands in Kentucky, Tennessee are really flying under the radar? I mean, making less than 3 to 5,000 barrels a year. All right, they're true craft distillers. I think New Riff still wants to call themselves craft. No. Wilderness Trail called themselves craft, and about 3 or 4 years ago, they're making so much. They were putting up 40,000 barrel warehouses at 3 times a year. No. What else do we have out there that's big that they don't want to really say they're that big as they are sometimes? There's some other places out there that are. Peerless is one of those in between type of things. So they can't get much bigger, but they're producing okay spirit and good spirit and okay amounts of it as well. So, what craft distillery could be from your home state, or could be from Kentucky or Tennessee? Which craft distillery can you highly recommend that I should take a look at more closely and see if I can get a bottle over here into Germany, so at least I can try it and do a review of it. Thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing, telling others, and thank you very much once again to everyone at Hartfield Co. in Paris, Kentucky. Excellent, excellent place to go. Highly recommend it. Had fun, and I'll be raving about, not ranting, raving about Augusta in a further video that will be coming shortly. Bye-bye.